One of the most underrated aspects of technique is touch and feeling, and what those things allow you to do and how they improve your game. If you're struggling with misreading spin on serves, or even in the rallies, you're struggling with short touches and just playing delicately and with finesse in general, it comes down to your touch. So today, I'm going to help you improve this part of your game. So to start off, something very simple. Most of us were holding our rackets too tight. This was a massive mistake that I made, and it just made my entire technique system too stiff, and I felt like I was a robot. If there's no movement here, then you're going to struggle to have the necessary maneuverability and the finesse. If you hold the racket too stiff, I think you lose the natural feel for the ball that most people who aren't holding the racket too stiff are getting. So what you're going to want to do is hold it looser, obviously, but also pay a lot of attention to these two fingers if you're a shake-hander, because these actually do a lot of steering, as I like to call it. Like, I will always make adjustments to my racket angle, to the way I'm playing my shot with these two fingers. The rest of my hand, I'm not actually holding the racket too tight. This is what allows for my hand to not get tired. Not that I think it would get tired, but there are some little kids that complain that their arm is tired when I'm coaching them. So I tell them to do this, don't hold it too tightly, because it will help them feel the ball, but also, yeah, obviously, they won't feel as tired. Alright, so I've teleported back here. The second thing we have to discuss is your awareness of how you're contacting the ball, because this is so underrated. Here's what I mean. I think the good touch comes from understanding how and where you're contacting on the ball, and yeah, how you're doing it. I think that some players have just been playing so orthodox that they never really get the opportunity, or they choose to never really try anything new. So they're not exposed to very unorthodox shots in general. I was kind of an idiot. I used to do all sorts of random shit when I should be doing basic training. But what that did help with is that I knew how to do these very weird shots from an early stage in my development, and because I did them so much when I wasn't supposed to, I gained a better feeling because of that. So how we're going to put this into practice is we're going to focus on just experimenting with things that we do normally. Like perhaps you're just forehand counter hitting to warm up. Why don't you try and chop one ball at random? It may sound very pointless. Why would you just start chopping a random forehand counter hit? But you need to try all sorts of weird things, because you need exposure to different sorts of spin and contact. For example, instead of always just doing a plain backhand push, why don't you try and add a little bit of side spin and cut onto it, like this. With your backhand topspin, why don't you swing your racket around a couple of times, feel the ball, spin the ball, add a little bit of side spin, maybe cut the ball. You can even practice some chop blocks if you've never done that. If you come across someone that can do a chop block on command and get it on about at least half the time, that is someone with good touch. That is someone that understands spin to an excellent degree. A great way you can work on your delicacy and your finesse and, you know, understand spin a little better is do a short game. Essentially, it's what it sounds. Whoever goes long first loses. You want to focus on your short pushes, your placement, your little intricate spins. What we're looking for is irregularity with spin. Try and do as many weird shots that you'd never do when your coach is actually watching, you know? A lot of developing young players completely neglect the weird side of the game. They always focus on the orthodox basics, and they have such a standard style. And then that's why they lose against older players that have a very unorthodox, weird style, but in actuality are much lower level than them. But they can just beat the high level junior because they aren't exposed to such weird style. So yeah, focus on your experimentation, try things out, do your weird shots until they work. Don't just do something weird and then if it doesn't work, you know, don't do it again. You want to try and register another shot into your table tennis stroke registry, you know? Like, keep building new ways of spinning the ball, contacting the ball, playing the ball, and I think that is what's going to improve your touch. So yeah, I'll see you another day.